Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning to some of you in certain parts of the world. Good afternoon to others of you in other parts of the world. I am R.C. Blakes, and I'm hoping that my connection is good. Uh, hope my connection is good. Is anybody on there? If you all can talk to me, let me know before I get started. I'm trying to see if I have a decent connection. Can you see me? Is my connection good? Can you hear me? Is it fuzzy or is it clear? Yes, I'm here. We're here. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. Good. Good. I was wondering because I'm outside, and I didn't know if my internet would accommodate me out here. How's everybody doing? I pray that you're doing well. I wanted to come live today. I'm kind of stuck in the house here in Houston, well, in Pearland. It's raining a lot here in Houston. And so I said, well, let me go sit on my back porch. It's a little cooler because of the rain. And let me talk to my family today. And that's what I consider you guys. Lisa and I, if this is your first time, I'm R.C. Blakes. I'm a pastor. I'm an author. I'm a student of life. And yeah, I love people. I love talking about relationships, and I love helping people to process things that are painful. And so today I thought I would do something that would be geared towards the man, but would benefit the ladies as well. And I guess the ladies could really benefit us as men by saying yea and nay to some of the things that I might share today. There was this program, this television show years ago called Desperate Housewives. I don't know if that thing still comes on or not. And it was just an interesting title for a television show, Desperate Housewives. And my question was years ago, what makes a housewife desperate? What makes a woman frustrated? And so I began to ponder that. And I actually taught this lesson to married couples many years ago. The consequences of dysfunctional relationships come from things like, when you think about a woman that is frustrated or even a man that's frustrated, it comes from stuff like, number one, unmet needs. When there are needs in the relationship that are unmet, for instance, financial needs can quickly erode a relationship and create frustration. When they're competing value systems, when you all have gotten together and sealed the deal on certain levels of commitment, but you really don't share value system, and so now you're in this thing, but your values are competing one with the other. This is definitely a big one. When you have emotional trauma that's not been processed in one party or both, years of abuse can trigger dysfunctional behavior. When a person is in a relationship or in a marriage or in a significant relationship and they've not really processed their own trauma, it can show up and it can create frustration. And then when you have different expectations, these are just some general ideas. But more specifically, what is it that we do as men, or what is it that we don't do or may fail to do that causes frustration in our wives, in our women? Number one, when a man does not have a clear vision, it will frustrate his wife, will frustrate his significant other. When a man does not have a clear vision, it will frustrate his wife or his significant other. The greatest thing a man can do for his relationship is to know where he's going. Give me 1 second. The greatest thing a man can do for his relationship is to know where he's going. You have to have, as a man, you have to have a vision, because a woman will fall in love with how nice you are. She'll just be attracted to maybe your spiritual status. You're Christian, you're saved or whatever. whatever. But once you're really in the grips of the relationship, one of the things the woman is going to need from you is a vision, because the thing that attracts a woman is not necessarily the thing that will maintain. And so once you've attracted the woman, she's looking for you, and these are things that she may never say. She's looking for you to articulate a vision. Because many women are frustrated and discouraged because their husbands have not yet defined the vision for the family. When there's no vision, it breeds insecurity in the woman. When there's no vision in the family, it breeds insecurity in the woman. When there's no vision, it breeds insecurity, because a vision for the family is like a map. It tells you where you are, it tells you where you're going, and how you're going to get there. And every man that would be the leader of a family and would be the leader of a wife and of children has to have a clearly defined vision. Got to have a clearly defined vision. And see, these are the kinds of things that nobody pulls us aside as men when we're young and tells us, man, you're going to have a vision, number one, for your own life. You know, you can't go anywhere you can't see. You not only are you going to have a vision for your life, but more importantly, if you plan on developing and maintaining a significant relationship with a real woman, you're going to have a vision for that woman. A woman is not going to follow a man who does not know where he's going, especially a woman with children. She's not going to jeopardize the well-being of her children following behind a man that's just kind of impulsively, randomly choosing, things to do and places to go. So nobody teaches us this as men. They teach us how to, do a lot of foolish stuff, but they don't teach us how to really do manhood. And one of the main things in doing manhood is to come to a place where you define the vision for your life, where you're going, how you're going to get there. There's no way in the world my wife would be able to submit to me the way she does if I didn't have a vision. And when I use that term submit, I'm not using it in the sense that she is subject to me or in the terms that she is less than me. No. We're equal. We're partners in this thing together. We walk side by side. But my wife definitely depends on me to have a real vision for our family. And because I have a real vision for our family, my wife can wholeheartedly get behind what I'm doing, and she can invest herself in where I'm trying to go because she can see it. And so as a man, you're going to have more than good looks. You're going to have, watch this, you're going to even have to have more than just making money. You're going to have to be able to articulate to your wife, to your lady, where you're going and how you're going to get there. Because the Bible says in Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. And that term perish means to loosen or to cast off restraints. There are no more boundaries. There's nothing defining boundaries, no vision. Where are we going? What are we doing? So watch this, if I don't bring a vision to the table as the man, and my wife comes up with a vision for the family, and then I say, well, she's a woman that's trying to take over. She's a woman that can't be, you can't lead her. Sometimes it's not that she can't be led. Sometimes it's just that she's trying to figure out the direction you're trying to bring us in. And sometimes, with our being content with where we are and not really having a real get up and go and get it kind of attitude, women get frustrated. And if we don't drive, they simply get behind the wheel. When there is no defined vision in the family, there are no boundaries to knowledge. Consequently, when there is no vision, the members go in different directions, creating what? Division. Creating what? Division. Division. If there's no single vision presented, the members of the family will go in various directions with their own visions, pursuing their own visions, creating division. So it's imperative. And the Bible says in Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Not only must we have a vision, my brothers, but we must be able to articulate that vision clearly so that those that read it, comprehend it, understand it, can invest themselves in it and run with it. Your vision to your wife should never be something nebulous or something unclear or murky. It should always be a very clear, the objectives should be very clearly stated. This is who we are, sweetheart. This is where we're going. In fact, about it, a woman should know your vision before you all ever get to a place where you consider yourselves engaged. You should be able to articulate to your woman where you're going, what you see for the union long before you get to a point where you all even say you're engaged. How do you know you need to be engaged if you're not certain about the end game? If you're not sure that you where I'm going, why would you commit yourself? Why would you submit yourself as a woman to me? You know, some of the stuff my wife and I talked about early on in dating was who I am, where I want to go, and how I want to get there. Even though it wasn't altogether perfectly clear to me, the parts of it that I understood, I articulated to her, and it was enough for her to know this is a ride I can get on. And we've been rolling now, married 24 years. But it would not have lasted. See, a marriage can't last just off good sex. I'm sorry, because sex gonna change with age. Marriage can't last just off good looks, because looks gonna change with age. The thing that sustains a marriage for a lifetime is a common vision that the two of you work on together. And see, what happens is the trap that a lot of us get into is, as men, we develop bills for houses and cars. We have children that we got to raise. And it kind of lulls us to sleep to believe that we got it all together. But the reality is that at that point, the things that we have in common are what? Bills. We got to pay these bills because both of our names are on the line. We got to raise these children. These are our kids. But what's going to happen when the children are gone? And the bills are paid, the house is paid for, and money's not a problem. What do you have in common then? That's where Lisa and I are now. Our children are basically gone a couple of weeks from DePaul. They pretty much out of here. It's just Lisa and I now. So what is the thing that glues us together? What is the thing that keeps her attached to me as her husband? It's the common vision. It's that we have a future together. Our vision sustains us through a lifetime. Is my signal good? I hope it's good. I hope my signal's good. You all let me know if my signal is bad. Watch this. So now here's message. My signal is okay. Praise the Lord. Here's an action step under this, my brother, because I'm talking to the brothers as well. So share this with your sons, your friends. If it's not going to offend your husband, share it with him as well. But watch this. Call a family meeting to lay out your hopes and dreams for your family. That's where vision starts. It starts with your innermost desires. Get your wife, get your lady, get her input as to how to go about accomplishing all of the stuff that you have on your heart, because she is your partner. Also include her personal desires and aspirations in the plan. Anything that does not fit into the family vision from either side has to be eliminated. So you start by calling a meeting with your lady and letting her know exactly what your hopes and dreams are for the family, and then asking her, now what are your hopes and dreams? Where do you want to go? What are some of your personal desires and goals and ambitions that I can support? And then you all create this family vision together that you work on. See, a lot of your ladies are frustrated because they're trying to figure out, not that they don't love you, they're trying to figure out, where are you bringing us? Where are you bringing us? And are you willing to support me in the things that I feel strongly about as your wife or as your lady? The second thing that frustrates our ladies, my brothers, is exclusion. Number two is the exclusion from the man's life. It's when she feels like she's excluded from our lives, because men often view the exclusion of their wives from their day-to-day affairs as a benefit to her. In other words, we don't involve them in a lot of things because we don't want to involve them in what we call the drama or the pressures. It's the man's idea of creating a worry-free life for his wife. However, it is the nature of a woman to help her man. So while you're working overtime to exclude her from the good, the bad, and the ugly, or maybe the bad and the ugly and including her in the good, the reality is that she was designed to be alongside you even through the bad and the ugly. And when you exclude her from the bad and the ugly, you frustrate her, because she was given to you by God to help you even through the bad and the ugly. In Genesis 2:18, it says, "And the Lord God said, it's not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him." When a woman has nothing to help with, it breeds indifference. Your woman gets most excited when you're man enough to say to her, "Babe, this is what I'm struggling with. This is a problem I have. This is irritating me," and she can help you find a solution, or sometimes she has the absolute solution within herself. But she can't give it to you if you never open up, if you exclude her from all of the difficulties of your life or the realities of your life. She can never really function to do what God created her to do, which is to help you. And when she is not in a position to be involved, her system is short-circuited. Because let me read this impact point again. When the woman has nothing to help with, it breeds indifference. You don't want to get to a point where you exclude your woman from your life and she's so uninvolved in your life that she just becomes bored. And she's kind of sitting on the sidelines popping gum. And then we say, well, you got every kind of bag. You can go shop anywhere you want to shop. That's not the kind of stuff that keeps a woman engaged. A woman is engaged when she can be involved in the intricacies of your life and not excluded from the process of you. In 1 Corinthians 11:8-9, it says, "For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man." So when society teaches a man to exclude his wife from his affairs and decisions, it is a destructive and anti-God maneuver, because the woman was created to help the man. God gave the woman to the man as a partner to help him in the affairs of life. And so a man has to include and not exclude his wife. Your wife should be involved in your life, because if she's not involved in the intricacies of your life, it'll breed indifference. And sometimes this is what we're dealing with when we look at our women and they seem to be disinterested or indifferent. Sometimes they really are indifferent because we've not really given them anything to help us with. Right? Now, the only solution for this type of problem is to renew your mind as a man concerning your wife's partnership. You must begin to submit to her counsel and her ideas, as well as develop shared goals and assignments. All of this creates buy-in and ownership. Your life and goals become hers as well, and this will generate agreement. So stop excluding her and start including her more, and you'll be amazed at the benefits it'll bring. Third thing that frustrates a woman. Number one, we said a man with no vision, when the man's vision is not clear. Number two, when a man excludes the woman from his life. Number three, a man's financial irresponsibility. Yowza. When we as men are financially irresponsible, it frustrates our women. Why? Because one of the main needs of a woman is security. And money represents security. Three things, well, at least these three things, maybe alongside some other things, should represent security in a woman's life. That would be her relationship with God. That would be the strength of her man. and that would be the financial well-being of the family. So when, as the man, we're financially irresponsible and we jeopardize or we make the family financially vulnerable, it frustrates the woman and it confuses her sense of respect for us. Because after all, she's put her confidence in us to what? Be a source of security in her life. And when we squander the money and we hurt the family financially with foolish financial decisions, it doesn't matter if you make $150,000 a year and then you waste it all on crazy stuff and the family is left, vulnerable and exploited, and you got all of these trinkets, you got all these cars and all of this, but your family's vulnerable, you're about to lose your house. That kind of thing frustrates the security of the woman, because many men are plagued with what is it called, the machismo, the mindset that dictates a man should always be in control of the money. A man should always, be in control of a woman and never let a woman tell you nothing. And I make this money, I do what I want to do with this money. The Bible never endorses that kind of mindset, my brother. It is perfectly fine if the man can handle the money for him to control it. But if the man is financially inept or lacks a financial acumen, the money matters should be handled by the person who's best suited. Because when the money's messed up, my father used to put it this way: if there's no money, there's no honey. And some of y'all will figure that out. No money, no honey. When you mess up the money, brother, you mess up everything in the family. I promise you. When you mess up the money and you frustrate your woman financially, and you breed insecurity in that woman, everything else goes downhill from there. So sometimes as men, we have to admit that, sometimes our wives are better suited to handle financial matters than us. That's the case in my house. My wife handles the financial matters. Now, we have our own little system, but I let my wife handle all of the financial matters. There's nothing I have, or nothing we have, should I say, that we both don't have access to. And as a man, I realize that I'm not organized in my thinking enough to be sitting around here talking about I'm gonna handle all the money. I'm not organized enough in my thinking. I'll stick too many bills in the drawer and have the money in the bank account to pay it, and the stuff won't be paid. Now your credit going bad, just because of just poor management. And when a man has a wife that can help him, he should allow her to help him. It doesn't take away from one's manhood if the wife can handle the money better, because everybody has their own personal giftings. But what if she wasted the money? Well, it means that y'all might need an outside, somebody outside may need to, get some counsel. But somebody got to be able to handle that money right. If both of y'all bad with money, y'all got to get some counsel from somebody, because the money got to be handled. If she is bad as you are, then as the man, you need to take the responsibility of finding somebody to give you some counsel, to put you on a budget, and then you all need to be responsible enough to stick with that budget. But many women are frustrated because the brother is not handling the money right. And the Bible talks in 1 Corinthians 12:4-6 about how we have many different kinds of gifts. And so it is in the family. Finances are as important to a woman's state of mind as sex is to a man's. Finances are as important to a woman's state of mind as sex is to a man's state of mind. When the money's messed up, the woman's whole personality, her attitude is thrown off. As brothers, you know how we get when a woman is slow about the sex part. You know what happens, what goes on the inside of us. We never even talk about it, or it just boils on the inside. Well, when we're messing up that money in the house, the same thing goes on inside of a woman. She's boiling, she's raging, she's quiet because she don't want to say the wrong thing. Now, Here's some application. Sit down with a financial planner to see where your financial picture stands. Determine who is honestly best suited for managing the family income. If it is your wife, delegate the responsibility of management to her. The next step is to have regular meetings to discuss financial moves and decisions. No one party should have unrestricted access to the family money, especially not when there's not enough money. When there's not enough money, now if y'all got more than enough money, you can do some things. You got a little more freedom. But when y'all trying to catch up bills and all of that, everybody, both of y'all need to have consultation with each other before you go to spending more than X amount of dollars, because you're jeopardizing the family, right? Okay, here's the fourth thing that frustrates a woman or frustrates our wives. Would be the man's romantic lethargy or laziness about romance. The man's laziness about romance. Many men become so familiar with their wives that their sexuality and sensuality don't seem to move the man anymore. This is a trick of the devil, that your wife's sex appeal doesn't move you anymore. And so you just... you just kind of, you see her and you don't see her. She can walk across the TV screen. Your wife can walk across the TV screen while you're watching the playoffs. She can be stark naked and you just look around at the TV because she doesn't move you anymore, And not understanding as a man that sense of familiarity and sense of invisibleness that we almost develop for the wife does major damage to her self-esteem. A man has to intentionally celebrate and recognize his wife and her appeal to him on a regular. And all of us as husbands, we fall into this at times and we have to be snapped out of it. Usually a man is snapped out of his romantic lethargy by watching another man flirt with his wife. You go out in the street and you're 10 or 15 feet away from her, you see another man turning around looking at her, or another man, trying to holler at her, then you want to fight and you want to jump up in the brother's face and all of that. But this is the same woman that you've ignored for the last 2 or 3 years without even saying you look good. She hadn't gotten a rose from you, no gifts, no special cards, no special words. And you wondering why she's frustrated. And then you want to know why is it that she doesn't respond to you sexually? Why doesn't she want to have sex? Well, there's a vast difference between romance and sex. If the romance is right, see, romance is really a 24-hour deal. Sex is, depending on who you are, maybe a 2-minute deal, 3-minute deal, maybe less, The brother is reaching for the sex, but the woman needs the romance. The man needs the sex, but the man needs the sex, but the woman needs the romance. The woman needs to know that she still got it. The woman needs to know that you still move her. Sometimes as a brother, you don't know the last time you even touched your woman. When's the last time you touched her? Put your hand on her. When's the last time she's been cooking and you walk up behind and just wrap your arms around her? You've gotten romantically lazy. And the main thing is, her greatest desire is to be desired by you. Your wife's greatest desire is to be desired by you. And when she's made to feel, she should know. No, she shouldn't know. You should express it. When she's made to feel like she's not desired by you, you leave her vulnerable because you deplete her self-esteem. She tries to talk herself up, but you have to understand something. Marriage is an ordained soul tie. It's a righteous and ordained soul tie. So it means that you're connected to her mind, you're connected to her soul, her self-esteem. And when you don't respond properly to her, you deplete something that is necessary within the woman. Because when a woman, write down Genesis 3:16, it says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. And thy desire shall be to thy husband. And the term used for desire here means, in the original Hebrew sense, of stretching out after, a longing for, a desire for. When a woman is really in love with a man, she desires to please that man in every way, especially sexually and romantically. When a man is unresponsive to his wife's sexuality, it kills something inside of her. Right? When you're unresponsive, and watch this, this has nothing to do with your loving her. You love her with all of your heart. You know, and see, as men, we're trained to believe, well, you know, bring your money home. That's an indication of your love. And it is. You know, a man should go to work and support and provide for his family because he loves his wife and he loves his children. But your wife needs more than that. Your wife needs more than that. All right. When a man is not obviously moved by his wife's sexuality, she may be moved by another man that is moved by her. And sometimes we're setting our wives up when we leave them struggling in this area relative to, you know, not being able to define or detect our desire for them. We leave our wives vulnerable, and we don't realize that sometimes we're participating in the plan of the enemy to weaken the resolve of our wives. Usually, when a woman cheats, it's because usually, and I believe this, it's been stated and I believe it, usually it's because there is something that has been unaddressed in terms of her emotional needs. Wow, I can't see too much. Now here's a solution, then I'll move on to the conclusion of this. Begin to look at your wife through new eyes. Don't allow the cloud of familiarity to blind you of what's really there. Look through another man's eyes for a moment. Train yourself to say the things that will make your wife feel like a woman that is desired. This will prove to be the greatest thing you can do for your marital sex life and romantic life. All right, number 5, the man's passive disposition. What's frustrating the wives? A man with no vision, the man that excludes his wife from the process of his life, a man's financial irresponsibility, the man's romantic laziness or lethargy, and now number 5, the man's passive disposition. When a man is just too passive, you know, when a man is just too passive, it becomes unattractive to a woman. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, we are creatures of extremes. We men, we're creatures of extreme. We're either going to be extremely aggressive and be dominating and abusive, you know, and just completely subjugate the woman, or we're going to go to the complete opposite end and just be pushovers. No real woman wants a pushover for a man. No real woman wants a man that does not have a backbone. No real woman wants a man that she can tell him, go sit down there, boy, and he gonna go sit down like a little child. No real woman wants a man that she can just dictate and he gonna follow orders. No real woman wants that. No real woman wants a man that's gonna be a dictator and an abuser, and not respect her as an equal and not hear her opinions. There's a balance that you got to find. There's a balance that you have to strike. And being passive is not it. Sometimes y'all think, you know, to be a good guy means you're going to be a little passive, weak man, that you don't have no backbone or you don't have an opinion, or, you know, you should never confront your woman, never disagree with your woman. Man, you got to be crazy. No human being can do that. not only should a man not be a person that resist, just doing whatever she tell me to do. The woman should resist it as well, because it doesn't make for a healthy individual to just be a yes person. And your woman is looking for you to take a position. When you think about it, the reason, when you look at Adam and Eve, one of the reasons they lost paradise was because Adam was too passive. What if Adam had stood up and said, no, Eve, no, that ain't what God told me to do? What if he had done that? What if he had done that? Because Eve ate of the fruit, nothing happened. Genesis 3:16. Eve ate of the fruit, nothing happened. Nothing happened until she brought it to Adam and suggested that he eat it. And when Adam ate it, then everything changed. Why? Because God made the covenant with Adam. What if Adam had a backbone and said to Eve, now we ain't doing it like that, babe. No. I see you over there eating and talking with the serpent, but we're not doing it like that. Now come on back over here. Come on back here. He would have preserved everything. Everything fell apart because Adam was too passive. When you think about Jezebel, we think about the Jezebel spirit. We compare Jezebel to we consider her to be the biblical representative of narcissist. Well, the thing you have to understand also about Jezebel is that she was married to a king by the name of Ahab. What if Ahab had a backbone? The reason Jezebel was able to exist is because Ahab was too weak. Come on now. If Ahab had had a backbone, things might have ended a lot differently. But if you look in Genesis 3:16, it says in Genesis 3:16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow. This is after the fall, they disobeyed and all that. Now God is handing out punishment. He says, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And rule does not mean to dictate, but rather rule means to govern and manage as one in authority. So the brother was given the responsibility of managing the family after the fall. Now, when a man is too passive, it means that he's failing in his divine responsibility of management. And a woman can't respect him. When you go to your job, if you have a manager on your job that's over, you can walk in when you want, you can stay at lunch for however long you want. It's not going to be long before you just totally disrespect that individual because you don't have any respect for them. And so it is when a woman has a man that is too passive. Because much of a woman's view of manhood is in his decisiveness. A man that is too passive becomes extremely unattractive to a real woman. The dominant masculine trait that attracts the female is the man's ability to be decisive. Not only to be decisive, but to be committed to his choice. Because a woman wants a man that has the confidence to take over the necessary or take over when necessary. But if you're just passive and whatever you say, I'm trying, baby, I'm trying to teach. Whatever you say, you make the decision. Baby, I'm just here to please you. Well, at some point you're going to destroy the chemistry of the relationship with that as a man, to be honest with you. And I know you think you're being a good man and all of that, but just being a pushover, a doormat, but you're not. Because women celebrate the warrior spirit. Women celebrate the warrior spirit. When your woman look at you, she got to know that you have limits and that, don't push him beyond this. She got to know that. Your woman can't look at you and maintain respect for you and feel like she can do anything and you just gonna roll over and take it, like an obedient dog or something like that. Now here's some application for number 5, the man's passive disposition. Begin to practice asserting yourself as a man. There's a difference between assertion or asserting yourself and aggression. A man never threatens or assaults his wife in any fashion, never gets aggressive, but always assertive. The things you need to do are stop deferring to your wife on everything. Speak your mind respectfully and wisely. Have your own mind. Make your wife know when she's out of line. Don't be a man that sits there and just lets your wife disrespect you and you have absolutely nothing to say. Number 6, and then I'm done. Thought I had 5, but it's actually 6. The 6th would be the man that spends too much time away from home. The man that spends too much time away from home. Now, of course, there's some men that spend a lot of time away from home for working. I'm one of them. I spend a lot of time away from home for purposes of ministry and work. But that's something that my wife and I understand, my family understands, and when I have to, I put all of that stuff aside and I get home. I'm going to be gone only so long and then I'm coming home, because I recognize that, my place is at home. Now I got to go to provide for the home, but I have to also respect the fact that my wife and my family needs me in position at home. Look what the Bible says. Let me show you something. And this is in Proverbs 7:18-20. It says, "Come, let us take our fill of love." Read the full context, the verses that come before. "Until the morning, let us solace ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. He hath taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed." Now, this is a wife whose husband is gone on some long journey, and she's, enticing another man to come into the house. We have to respect the fact that our wives need us present. And when we're gone away from home, sometimes we're working. We get off the job at 7 and we hang out with the fellas to 1, 2 in the morning, and we're up again 5 o'clock in the morning. And the reality is that your wife never sees you. You're never present. You're making your wife vulnerable because your wife needs you present to nurture her in the ways that she needs to be nurtured. There shouldn't be any unnecessary separation because you have to what? Cover your wife. You got to cover your wife. So this is an old lesson, man. Look at that. That's old. Y'all know that's old. But I was ahead of the game even then. I had my stuff color coded and typed out. Yeah, I was ahead of the game even then. So I hope that this helps. I don't know how many brothers came in. I pray that you all would share this with some men. I did it for the brothers, and hopefully it makes sense to the brothers. And if you are a brother watching this, respond to me, man. Hit me up and let me know. Put some stuff in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. If you agree or disagree with certain things, or if there's some other stuff that I can deal with for men that might help you. All right, so I'm done. My pages are blowing away. Father, I thank you today for just the opportunity to speak into the hearts of your people. Now, God, my prayer is that you will allow the words of my mouth to resonate with their hearts, and let them, dear God, find and discover wisdom. And now, God, I speak into the life of every man that might watch this. God, let something be said that will shift his life in a righteous direction, in a positive direction. God, I speak over relationships, and I thank you, dear God, for just causing relationships to prosper and to in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. And we give you praise for it now. Amen. Hey, if this is your kind of thing, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also hit the little bell to be alerted. Stop by my website, RCBLAKES.com. Subscribe to my email group. Stop by, Amazon. Pick up my books if you desire to have things like Queenology, tees and t-shirts, or clothing, for lack of the other term. Go to RCBLAKES.com. RCBLAKESstore.com. I'm sorry, RCBLAKESstore.com. You can find all of the Queenology paraphernalia. You can find workbooks for the book Queenology and the book The Father-Daughter Talk. All of that's at my personal store, online store. And just know that I love you, man. Look under live events and you can see exactly where I'm coming. You can You can register for events that we have going on. All of that, all right? And just know that Lisa and I love you, and we're praying for you. Those of you that Game Changer Conference is happening June 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's 2019. That's just in a couple of weeks from now. And you can go and register today for $29. We extended that a couple of days because the website on Sunday was acting a little weird. You can register for the Game Changer at focfi.org, focfi.org. Or if you're comfortable with going to RC Blake's, you can even get to Game Changer through live events, and you can register for that and meet us in the city of New Orleans, June 18th, 19th, and 20th. I love you. I thank God for you. I hope this made some sense, and just know I'm praying for you, and you're on top and you're going higher. God has more in